weeks into the month-long EcoMobility Festival, which has been a huge undertaking for the City of Joburg and motorists alike, all aimed at getting people introduced to and connected with the concept of EcoMobility. So 2 weeks in, we take stock of how this is going. I'm joined now in studio by Sipho Nhlako, who is the Operations Manager of Mobility at the City of Johannesburg. Sipho, very good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Natasha. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, so as mentioned, this has been a huge undertaking for the City of Joburg, for transport, for motorists. 2 weeks in, how are things looking?
I can tell you now, 2 weeks into this project, it's been going very well. But remember, what we were actually looking for, it's the conversation to come out. Okay. So conversations have been both positive, have been both negative, have been both neutral as well. But we're taking every stock and then looking at how things are happening. And then we can tell you clearly from where we are sitting today, things are looking very good, and it's bringing some good data through to us.
All right, so another aspect or another dimension I would say that must have been added to this is that schools were not open when this started. Now schools have started. What's the feedback been on that subject?
We chose October because of a number of reasons. One of the reasons was that at the beginning of October, the schools are going to be closed. So we are aware of that. So that's when we actually started the project, so that people can know where the parking rights are, how do I catch a taxi, how do I move around, which roads are closed. Now with the schools opening was then presenting another opportunity for us to see now, in terms of the volumes of traffic, how does it change. The third week also will present another dynamic that we are looking at, where we are beginning to look at people getting relaxed about this system, where people are beginning to make choices about whether they want to stay in the public transport or they want to go back to their cars.
Okay, so let's look at that. People are starting to make choices. Have you seen already now in 2 weeks how people have been responding to the project? Has there been a change in attitude? Have they been able to adapt to the new setup? Yeah,
certainly. Look, firstly, we saw the motorists being a bit angry, obviously, because they have to share the space. Secondly, we've seen a lot of people start using the public transport that is available. The first week, we saw our parking rights reaching about 500 cars parked there. Okay. And then this week, we actually have seen the drop. But if you look at the numbers from Gautrain, they've had about 10,000 numbers of people now knew that they are beginning to use Gautrain. And if you look at it, the way we drive in Johannesburg, obviously, there's always one person in the car. Yeah. So there could be 10,000 cars off the road, purely on the Gautrain. And then what we've seen today, it's where number of people actually are not parking their cars at our parking rights, but they're actually using the buses that we are supplying. So we've seen about 60% increase in terms of the capacity that we have. So there's about 5,000 people now who are moving to our parking rights and getting into something. So to us, that's a very good sign.
Okay, so if you're talking about capacity, is this sustainable? And if so, how and when will it be fully implemented?
Wonderful. The EcoMobility Festival is just one small part of the bigger public transport project for the City of Johannesburg. Okay. The sustainability of it depends on the fact that the city will be putting up Rea Vaya bus network in Sandton. Okay. So that's where you're going to begin to see the legacy and the sustainability. The city has built a number of sidewalks and cycle lanes from Alexandra into Sandton. That's where you're going to begin to see sustainability. So the festival is just a teaser to saying what is coming in Sandton, and then get used to knowing that you'll be sharing the space with public transport.
And obviously, as you say, getting those conversations going, getting that feedback going. Will this be implemented in other metros, namely the Tshwane Metro?
Look, I don't know. I'm sure they're watching and then they're being excited. I've heard Cape Town talking about at the rate that they are going in the next 4 or 5 years, you'll only drive at 29 kilometers per hour there. So maybe they may want to consider. But this is a good start because people tend to look how it works in other areas and then people actually jump into it. So if other metros come into it, because the best thing about public transport, it must be a network. It's not isolated. So if Tshwane do something, Cape Town do something, Durban do something, Bloemfontein do something, then we are actually good where we can actually have a very good public transport system in the country.
All right. Sipho Nhlako, thank you very much for your time. That's Sipho Nhlako, Operations Manager of Mobility at the City of Johannesburg.